Mr. Fenton, your website allows contributions in cryptocurrency. Do you favor increased use of crypto in monetary transactions? And what do you say to those who oppose cryptocurrencies because they can be used for illegal transactions?
Yeah, I'm all for any form of money that anybody wants to use. And ideally, I'd like to get government out of the money business, just like we used to have church and state were once together. We wouldn't be able to have this meeting without officials from the church hundreds of years ago. And we should get government out of the money business. We can separate money just like we separated church and state. We can separate money and state. Because government doesn't need to be in the money business. We don't need politicians to tell us what money is. Throughout human history, for thousands of years, people have figured it out, whether it's gold or silver or Bitcoin. And the fact is that our money right now is broken. Politicians broke it. They have unlimited money that they can print from thin air without accountability. And that is now competing against an asset like Bitcoin, which is limited in supply, limited to 21 million coins, cannot be printed from thin air. So the money is broken, and politicians broke it, and everybody should have the freedom to choose better money if they choose to. I chose Bitcoin. I recommend other people choose something else as well, because the dollar is a melting ice cube.
What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome day today. Now, it has been a very interesting week for crypto, the stocks, everything coming out from the Fed, the FOMC, and there's still a lot of FUD out there. In fact, it's almost been crickets lately. You ask yourself, where is everybody in the crypto space? It seems like crypto is dead, or at least that's how the media is portraying it right now. Well, there is something I wanted to talk about, and I know we've kind of laid off the TA recently. There hasn't been a lot of price action, but right now there is something that I do want to talk about specifically. I also want to discuss how it's very, very interesting with this anti-crypto army thing going on with Senator Elizabeth Warren, and yet when you ask people who work directly for her, they're a little bit confused themselves about what is going on. It definitely seems like there could be some form of a conspiracy at play, but we're going to get into that in just a bit. I do want to hop in super quick. I want to keep today's video short. As you guys can see right here, we were potentially looking to form, what I had said could have been something like this double bottom, which we did get that breakout. We said we also had one here. That continued to the upside, putting in a giant double bottom. But now that we've been rejected and we've actually put in this lower level, does that actually mean that we do have to retest some of these ridiculous low levels like some people have been calling for? Well, here's the thing that I've been keeping my eye on, and it's the correlation between Bitcoin and the S&P. And you can see that the S&P has unfortunately put in right here a higher low. Now, we are still in this parallel channel moving to the upside, and I did pretty much call that we were on this downwards trend. We did get rejected. Look at that. Look how many times we got rejected exactly at that area. So obviously, if you were looking to short it, that would have been the way to go. But of course, what we're looking at is this support region that we have right here. This is the S&P, not Bitcoin, but this is all going to come full circle in a minute. You'll understand why. You can see right here, we had that retest, major rejection, and right now, we did have the bounce off of that with the upwards heart line, but as of this moment, we're currently sitting here, and this is one of the worst candles that the stock market has seen on the weekly. It's even worse than this one that we had back here during the last week of July. So ultimately, could this affect Bitcoin? Well, on the flip side, you also have the DXY, which is breaking out as well. So if we come over here to Bitcoin, why am I saying that we could potentially see something big? Well, remember the last time that we were looking at these Bollinger Bands, and you can go back historically and look at all the times that you get these really, really tight, look at this one. That was so tight. Boom. Massive break to the upside, right? So the thing is, it usually tends to kind of fake you out on the offside. And if you're looking right here, you'll notice we were sitting below the basis before the breakout, sitting below the basis before the breakout, right? Sitting below the basis before the breakout. Now, right here, we were sitting above the basis, and that ended up in a massive, massive fall to the downside. Currently, we are having very, very tight Bollinger Bands, and we are sitting above the basis. Now, understand, it doesn't mean this has to play out this way every single time, but historically, we do tend to break in the opposite direction. So am I becoming a Bitcoin bear? No, not exactly, guys. Having a look right here, first of all, it's almost impossible to make me a long-term Bitcoin bear. You guys know that. I am 100% pro-Bitcoin forever. I'm the guy who said it was going to hit 1 million in our lifetime, so trust me, I'm not getting bearish here. But what I am saying is we've been holding on this downward sloping trend. Yes, we play around in a little bit, sometimes we dip below it, but ultimately you could see that this area was acting as major, major support. And then you can see right back here, it acted as a major rejection, right? Then once we got above it, we started using the inside of it as support. And each time we have moved up. In fact, if you look here, we were using the bottom. Here, we were using the heart line. And right here, it looks like we're attempting to hold on the top, right? So all things should be good and we should be going directly to the moon. Well, that's what I want to talk about today. If that sounds good to you, you guys know what to do. If you are not subscribed, definitely consider it. But I do know that recently you've been enjoying a lot of these news content articles, and although there's not much going out today, I did want to just talk about one thing real quick. Oh, I forgot. I am going to be speaking at Cypherpunk 2023. This is the 27th and 28th of this month, so next week. If you guys want to go, you can use the link below. It's 50% off tickets, so come hang out. There's an after party. I'll be down in Florida for that. So anyway, side note, here's something kind of funny. Let's just start with this. So this was hilarious news that actually just broke this morning. So we have this guy, Mr. Menendez, the senator who said that Bitcoin can open the doors of corruption in El Salvador, was just indicted for corruption by federal prosecutors who seized $100,000 in gold bars and $480,000 in hidden cash from his home. So what's that old saying about people who live in glass houses? They shouldn't be throwing stones. Well, the squeaky wheel maybe gets the grease, but in this case, it seems like the corrupt are trying to, you know how they say, like, what is that saying? Like, usually just look in the mirror. I don't know. Just kind of funny how the guy that says Bitcoin is used for corruption, well, he is more than corrupt himself. So this is just what you expect to see. Speaking of corruption, we have Elizabeth Warren. Now, she has this Anti-Money Laundering Act for digital assets. Now, listen, I'm all for fighting these types of things, right? I mean, the laws have to go into place, but what you don't understand about this type, the wording that they have in this type of this act that she's trying to pass is basically, it could potentially deem self-ownership of crypto illegal, right? Because she wants it all in these custodians where everyone can be paying attention. They're all in these accounts that are basically turning it into a glorified bank account. And that's not really the ethos of crypto. And although we believe that the ETF is going to drive all of this, influx of capital and money into it, there are still those who want to hold their own assets, who want to protect their own wallets, right? That's self-sovereignty, right? And now you got a bunch of people that are rallying behind this. Now, here's the interesting part. So you had Mike Novogratz. He was over speaking at MainNet. I don't have the clip, but listen to what Caitlin Long said. Novogratz is basically saying what everyone's thinking out loud. This is his words. He says that Biden cut a deal. President Biden cut a deal with Senator Warren for her to get veto power over all financial services appointees in his administration. She said she wouldn't meet with Mike Novogratz, even though he's a Democrat himself, and he has no idea why she hates crypto viscerally. In fact, if you talk to her senior staff members, they disagree with her. So where is all this anti-crypto regimen coming from, right? Now, we can go into all the different conspiracies of whether or not it's suppression so that the big guys can get in before the BlackRock and all these ETFs launch, but it clearly is obvious that Operation Choke Point 2.0 and whatever the Biden administration is doing, cutting deals with these people who are only making a few $100,000 a year, yet they're multimillionaires because they're all insiders trading, right? But it's okay when they do it, right? It's okay when they can do things behind closed doors, but we want to see everything that you're doing, right? I mean, the US can literally just misplace millions and billions of dollars, right? But if you don't report your $600 on Venmo, well, we're coming after you, boys. So it's just a bunch of FUD, and it is ridiculous in my opinion. And obviously there are real things to talk about. For example, you do have Fed member Susan Collins saying that interest rates should be kept higher. Now, we had never seen a situation in which the Fed had actually paused rates and then started raising them again. So we're seeing a completely different paradigm. She's saying if the data doesn't come in, there's a possibility that they'll have to increase rates even further. At this point, she says interest rates may have to stay higher for a longer period. So the way that I kind of look at this is this isn't really fear or doom and gloom. Look, guys, I could do this all day. I've been here for years. I've been through bear markets before. All these do is provide opportunities for accumulation, but this time is very different. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't care if I sound like a broken record. I believe that this is the last bull run for the little guy. I do. That's just how I feel. Once you have these institutions coming in, once you have these big players coming in, the average person is not, even now, a $26,000 Bitcoin is a lot for the average person. But now we're talking about Bitcoin going to 100,000, 300,000. And I've gone over why this is going to happen. If you want to still say that they're going to crash the price down to 10, okay, I agree to disagree, okay? We can all have our own opinions, okay? But this is essentially what we're looking at. And, the thing that I try to explain about this money and all this fear about, not BlackRock, but Mt. Gox and FTX and whoever, they're going to crash it. Well, look at this, guys. We had Bitcoin miners that had 1.8 million Bitcoin in their possession when we went up to 27,005. Maybe they were waiting for the Powell speech. I don't really know. So it ended up that they sold about 3,495 Bitcoin. So you guys do the math at that price. And this is 3,495 Bitcoin. And all they were able to do, assuming this is all they're doing, which I don't think it was, they only moved the price $1,000 to the downside. And what you're seeing right now is something interesting. We're actually seeing interesting data because we have the whale wallets that are holding more than 10 Bitcoin accumulating at rapid rates. So obviously somebody who has a lot of money, who knows something or speculates on something, is clearly loading up on Bitcoin. But we have some interesting data because at the same time, you're also seeing Bitcoin wallets holding less than 100 Bitcoin at an all-time high, right? So, I mean, yes, you can kind of argue about what the amount of Bitcoin wallets that are considered to be whales, but you have 0 to 100 at 2.4, whereas 100 and over 100, 0.9%. So what is happening is you're actually seeing the little guys, whoever's still around here in this ghost town, accumulating. And again, not financial advice, not trying to create FOMO, but I just don't see these opportunities lasting much longer. This is why I want to hop into the charts and look at what we're doing right now. So we are being rejected. We did have a death cross on the daily. That is not anything that we weren't prepared for. And obviously these are lagging indicators. So by the time you get them, it's already too late. But you could see the amount of rejections that we've had right here off of this 100, right? Multiple times, and it was providing support. And you could see what happened the first time we were above it and we lost it. And, how much, for example, if you just take this, how much longer, can we continue before we consolidate, and then we have no other place to go except potentially to the downside? I realize I might have been in the way of showing you guys that. But going over here, on the flip side, we have the weekly golden cross, right? So yes, we have the death cross on the daily, but I always say that the weekly crosses or the higher you go, weekly is more important than daily, monthly is more important than weekly. I mean, if you want to go to yearly, I guess yearly is more important than monthly. I guess if you want to go that high, Bitcoin's only been around for like 13 years, but as you guys could see, the thing that is the warning, and this is the actual warning. This isn't something that I'm just saying to just say, oh, Bitcoin warning. But you could see right here that we generally do not see the EMA ribbon fake out to the upside and then flip to the downside. And we are having quite a bit of a struggle with this ribbon right now. Now, even though, yes, we still have a slight curvature to it, the problem is that we were able to break through the ribbon. And what did we do? I mean, literally in a week's time, we broke through, and then it shot us right back down to where we were. This is a very big rejection. This is a lot of selling into this. They're selling into the strength, right? So why are they doing this? Is it to keep the price down? Is it because we're going into recession? Is it because Bitcoin's going to zero? No, I don't think that at all. But I do think it's something to be concerned about considering how tight the Bollinger Band is getting, right? You can see right here, this is drawing from before. But ultimately, we are still stuck in this very interesting predicament where we have the 200 weekly moving average acting as our resistance, and we have potentially the 50 right now looking like at some point it may want to have a golden cross, but the 100 looking like it may want to have a death cross. So I think we are going to be entering a very turbulent period of time. It could be a really good opportunity for trades, that's for sure. The more volatility, the better. Again, if you guys do want to learn how to trade, you guys know I do recommend checking out my absolutely free tutorials above. There is $66,000 in bonuses, and I just saw actually that Bybit is leaving the UK. Temporarily, it seems, apparently. So again, if you guys do want to check out CoinCatch, I do recommend them. They're non-KYC. And the other one too is Femex. Femex is still doing, I believe, 50,000. They actually have if you check out Femex right now, they actually have like a 8,000 or something crazy amount of Bitcoin that they're giving away. So it's up to you guys if you want to check that out. All those links are below. But what I'm really looking at right here is the fact that we are still putting in these higher lows from this double bottom at the bottom. And, if as long as we can stay above this level, then for the most part, I am okay. If we start losing this upwards trend, then we may have some serious issues. Now, Rect Capital has a little bit of a difference of opinion when it comes to his triangle. You can see the way that he drew it is a little bit different. Mine is a little bit of a steeper angle. We're a little closer. So if you take it with a grain of salt, he thinks that we could end up coming down to some of these lower levels. So are we going to see a big double bottom, Bitcoin 18,000? It's possible. The one area that I've had my eyes on for quite some time, obviously outside of the 25.3 retest, is this area right here, because you can see all the interest. Look at these candles, right? You have this interest right here. You have this rejection here. You have this candle stopping here. You have the month of February basically putting in just a star, ultimately opening and closing at exactly that same level. And then, of course, the interest here again. So that level of interest could potentially push Bitcoin's price down to about 23,400. But again, as you guys can see above my head, the amount of massive VPVR interest right here, specifically at the $20,000 level, is so insane, it's so strong that you could see as this VPR up here acted as the resistance. I'm sorry, it's VRVP. I think VPVR sounds better, just rolls off the tongue better. But volume profile range, whatever you want to call it, you can see right here, massive area of interest, and that's why we fall off that level. So you can see right here, we have not as much interest, okay, which is saying that is like, I still think there's a higher probability we have a bounce off of the $23,100 to $200 level. But if we do breach that, you can see right here, we tried to fall below that. Look at this. We tried to fall below that. And what happened? We wicked right back up. And actually, look at this. I just shifted it. I just shifted it over. That actually touched the VPVR perfectly. Did you see how that just happened? Did you guys see that? Look at that. Just shifting it a couple months out. And, okay, now it's not going to do it. Now it's going to make me look like a liar. There we go. So, yeah, obviously, okay, so that level's at 19,000. So, again, and that was a wick. And after we wicked down to that level, you could see that we had these buyers, and we had a 20% pump at that level. So, if you want to put your buy orders down there, not financial advice, maybe you can set them at around 19,001, sub 20K if you think we're going to go there. But the likelihood of that is still not happening. Also, given the fact that we may potentially see, this wave moving over into this, right? The same way that you've seen that happen in the past. We've looked at these money flows and waves before. And again, we still haven't broken this legacy trend, the ultimate trend dating us back here to July of 2017, and then the new COVID trend, which perfectly intercepted right here. We had the X, you could see we had the support. So again, the lowest level on the legacy is about 21,300. So right in the ballpark. And then the higher area is 23.4. So again, I think you may get that opportunity, but I just don't know how long we're going to stay there and how long that opportunity will last. If that opportunity does last longer than we expected, I take it as a blessing, because again, once these big players come in, this is the last bull run for the average guy, because the next bull run, you're talking about retesting some of the mid lows. Bitcoin's going to go up to like what? 150 or something, and then it's going to crash to 50. It's going to crash back to 50K or something. Maybe that'll be an opportunity, but you're talking 3-4 years maybe out for that cycle, if we even get that, if that even happens, based on the demand, right? And just kind of ending on a fun note, you can see this French restaurant is seeking to drive Bitcoin adoption by accepting only Bitcoin for a high-end menu item. So this is some kind of drink that they have. It is a... I am not even going to try to pronounce any of these French words, but yeah. So anyway, they're charging Bitcoin for their top, just to kind of raise awareness. You want to get the top menu item, you want to eat like a king or a queen, well, you're going to have to drop some Bitcoin. So that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for the channel. I know we didn't have any video updates. I know it's the weekend. People are tired of hearing about crypto. Lots of drama kind of going on too in the space. It's just been kind of crazy, but yeah, so we're gonna keep updating you guys. Over the weekend, I would be shocked if we had weekend volatility. I never really expect there. In other words, I don't take weekend moves that seriously. I've seen weekends pump 2,000 only to completely retrace on Monday, and vice versa. So we do want to pay attention to if we get any kind of CME futures gap over the weekend. Make sure you get subscribed if you haven't been subscribed. I do think we're going to start doing a little more TA right now. It's kind of like boring, right? And there wasn't even a lot of news coming out recently, but that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I make these videos. If you do want to learn how to trade responsibly and profitably, I do have many, many, many free tutorials. Obviously, I don't charge anything, but if you want to check those out, you can check them popping up right here, right now. If you want to go also, like I said, to If you want to go to the Cypherpunk, you can use the code for 50% off CryptoZombie or use the link below. But that's it for me. Until next time, guys, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.